forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes. We can all get along, but there's no stopping. Ay, everybody's wrong, that's a real problem. Ay, they don't want to hear it, but they still talking. Ay, soon enough, we running out of options. Ay, this ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin. Ay, we ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it. Ay, I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid. Y'all are so fake. Oh no, the forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes.
You're on mute.
I totally forgot I was on mute. That's funny. So here we go again. Amária Sweet with HeartMind Expressions and the Fab Four. McClure and AlexSpielman are with me tonight. And we're not having Alex Bloom with us. Dr. Bloom, has his own things that he's doing this evening. Really quick, do some plugs. Excuse me. We've got just some new stuff, some little disclaimers. I'll just read here. So the views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. All views and opinions expressed by Soma Fusion Media, and of course hosts under Soma Fusion Media are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views of Soma Fusion Media or any of its officials. And of course, we're so grateful for our host or hostess, or I don't even know what the appropriate way to say it these days is anymore, but Katie Kamara, we love her. She's amazing with Soma. And then, of course, Rev Radio Las Vegas and C4OC Radio Network. And of course, we do our lovely plug with Savvy Clothing. This is the clothing line for women, fitwear of any age, size. And I mean, you know, if you want to wear a burqa or not, you can still do it and look fun and cool. Or if you want to go down to a tank top and, you know, some cuties, hey, we all love the way we look. No judgment there. So savvy.com /Soma Fusion. I can't talk. Savvy, SAVVI.com /Soma Fusion. All right, guys.
Savvy clothing line is actually awesome because it feels flexible. It's comfortable. You can just lounge and stretch. You don't have these crinks. You don't have anything riding up on you. You know, you don't actually feel like that. You know, you're being compressed to death and you can't move around. And it's very, very flexible. It's very comfortable. So yeah.
So not an accordion. Got it.
So I guess let's see, we were continuing some stuff that we were talking about last week, and we're going to segue into some cool things. I really like where our discussions are headed. I think this is pretty fun.
I was so excited about the conversation we were having last week when it came to Tartaria and how we can make kind of we can kind of make some we can make some notes about how some of these things kind of make sense into the modern day, and how it's curious that this stuff is not being talked about in the mainstream, mainly because, at least in my view, it's relatively inconvenient. You know, we have this grandiose way of explaining how world history works, and it's in this nice, neat, cute package. And then you throw something in there, and then you realize, wait a minute, that kind of makes sense. And what were we actually doing before? And it's kind of like when you had that huge tower of cards, And
Right.
you'll have like a pet or a little kid or anybody really knocking over that entire tower of cards, and you're like,
It's kind of like when you make a
tower now.
tower of cards and somebody actually throws an ink pen right there and it just collapses all of it. Doesn't an ink pen. I've actually done that before. Sorry about that. to the student that worked really hard at putting the tower of cards together. That was high school for you. But it's just that a lot of the stuff that we learned in school, a lot of the stuff that's in the mainstream and stuff, they have an agenda, and it is a neat, tied up in a bow, wrapped, delivered precisely in such a way to the public. So they have a way with their things. So if we put a wrench in it, it upsets, it rocks, it makes waves, stirs the pot. Some of it kind of sounds like a blender as well. But that's what
Definitely
we
a
are.
blender.
We are official boat rockers, though.
I had to think about that for a second. You mentioned blender, and then I'm thinking about things. I'm like, that is probably the best comparison I could possibly think of. That is hilarious, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Remember, these are reflecting on my views. So I mean, just my opinion.
I love your opinions. They're such a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
It's totally different than what I would be exposed to over here. So,
I really do like that. Yeah, we all
Well,
have a
thank you.
different
All
view.
of
It's
us,
really cool.
at least we do have one language in common besides English. I think it's sarcasm, right? Does that qualify as a language? Can you take a language class for that?
I think that's just Generation X. We just were born
Oh.
smart asses. It's better than being born a dumbass.
Yeah, dumbass. Yeah, exactly.
Ladies, I am a millennial. So.
You know what? So is my
Yeah.
partner. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Millennials are great too. It's
I'm-
like it's
I'm
kind
just-
of
I'm just-
that glue. Like I think Gen Xers, we get along with pretty much everybody,
Yeah.
and it's all good. We got it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
still
So-
remember the rotary phone.
I still
Right,
remember
with
8
The
tracks.
phone
yo.
booth. Yeah, and the phone booths. Remember the phone booths? We don't do those damn things
Yup.
anymore.
And I had a pager in the 90s.
Yeah. I remember the
I remember
pagers.
the original car phones. Oh my God, they were like a briefcase. That was huge.
Oh, the brick with an antenna. Yeah, I remember.
And the big antenna. Yep.
Yeah, the brick with an antenna. That's what it looked like. They carried it around, and that's
Oh,
that's
boy.
how old we are.
And the
I was there when the microwave
AOL.
first came out, guys. Oh my
Right?
gosh, that dial-up sound. You can use that as a
Mhm.
ringtone if you want to. Exactly. Who wants to? That was a horrible sound. I'm glad
Exactly.
it was totally out now. But
Mhm.
anyway, yeah, speaking of that, I mean, everything is based on, the technologies that we have. And this is just from what I understand. We are literally out of time with how we're supposed to be technology wise. We should be thousands of years to where we are right now, but they have suppressed us from, technologies and
Right.
anything, including the medical world, tech world, every world, including education world. And you can tell because some of the things that goes on in our life is more advanced, and we can see what's being held back, like our communication. Anything that has
Right.
to do with spying on us, looking out for us, the one eye, we call it, the one all-seeing eye, then that will advance like crazy. But anything that has to do with, like, for example, cars, it hasn't really changed that much. It's got some cool bells and whistles, but we're still running on the same way. We're still getting to work from point A to point B the same way. So really, that hasn't really advanced as much. And so don't you all find it weird that you can advance in one area, but not others? I mean, that just sounds crazy,
Well, it's been really cool. One of my mastermind groups, we were talking a couple weeks ago about the med beds that are out. There's a lot
Yeah.
of them. I actually tried one of them.
Oh, wow, that's
It was
awesome.
really cool. I've noticed some shook up stuff, but I haven't noticed any improvement yet. And so I don't know if I didn't do it right. Because this one, I'm trying to remember if it's called P90 something or 9010 something. I don't know. It's like a weird name. I did it last week.
I think a P90 is a gun, but okay.
Right. And then it's like this code that you have to take a picture of your bed. But I didn't have white sheets like on their picture. I had plaid that was on my bed. So I don't know if you have to go all the way down to the bed. So I might try it again because I'm like, my tooth still hurts. And so I'm like, I think that would be gone. But I mean, I do notice with my toe, because I broke it 5 weeks ago. I mean, it still aches because I've been working on it for about 3 of those weeks. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I know
But
that
that one's like a
the med
virtual one. It's
beds.
that
Okay.
med bed is a, how did they call it? It's like a psychoenergetics type thing. Because I think they're using radionics and something else, but they explain it. I'll have to look it up, and actually I'll do it right now because it was really cool.
Yeah, but the med beds are out.
There is one
They
from Kesh. Dr. Kesh has
yeah.
one from the Kesh Institute. That one looks really cool because they are using the plasma med bed.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like you said, we have all kinds of therapy as well, like sound therapy and things that you can use in frequencies and stuff. The med beds that we have also heard about. I don't know. There's a
9010.
there's a whole bunch of them all over on Earth, as well as in other places as well. So the problem is a majority of them are either underground or in military bases. They're in places that most common folk will not have access to. So we're hoping soon that they'll be out in the common folk area. There are some hospitals where they have quote special rooms where they have them, but they're still not out into the general public. So we are hoping that the med beds will come out soon to the general public, and it'll just be a general knowledge to actually go to them when you have certain ailments that need fixing.
Nice.
Mhm.
That will be nice to be able to have that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the 9010. I don't know. It looks really cool, but it says like when I go onto my site, it says 88%. So I don't think I did it right. So maybe I need to go back and watch some videos because the 9010 Academy, it's like 9010.academy. I don't know if that's like the login thing though. But anyway, that's what I went to look at. Um, but the 9010 medbed is interesting. Just like the videos, I don't know enough about it to really explain it. I mean, they just mentioned it briefly in our mastermind, like I said, and I looked into it and I thought I did it, but I guess not because it says 88%, like I said. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to figure it out and see if it heals my tooth overnight or something. That would be cool.
You can if you have any garlic cloves, I know it doesn't do anything on the breath, and I'm sure chewing on garlic cloves is great birth control if anybody wants to know. But if you want to, because I kind of had a toothache, roughly on the same side, and if I chewed on a garlic clove, a couple of them, and it seemed to fix it.
Interesting. I'm still not quite sure. I think I might need to like see if I can make some of that mineralization toothpaste. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to use calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Because I know that I've got like that receded gum line, and then it exposes the root, and it's like,
Yeah,
ooh.
kind of. Yeah, when you get the nerve exposed, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. Like it hurts right now, but I'm just,
Yeah.
feeling. Anyway, let's
Oh,
not
I
worry
hope
about
you
my
get
tooth.
better.
It's healing. I love my tooth. It rocks. So back to
Oh,
conversation.
Yep.
while you guys were talking, you were talking about all this technology and how where we should be, and that really kind of got to my thoughts about my digging into the patent office and all the different things that are within the patent office. It is such a fascinating dig if you ever really want to go. And if I may recommend a person within that, the guy actually uses several different pseudonyms within it. But the inventor, his name is John St. Clair, and some of this stuff is actually very interesting. Just to kind of go over a few of them. Some of the names would be like gel, module with air bag with an external retaining strap, adhesive and sealants from controlled distribution block copolymers, He has the patent for the what's it called? There's a aircraft. Oh, what was that thing called?
What is it? Is it like a personal aircraft or more of a
No.
commercial?
Military. It's the one.
Oh,
It's
military.
it's the one that's normally used. That is used within SSP stuff.
Oh, is that
It's
the
It's the triangular one.
the TR3s? Because
That's
there's
it. The TR3B. That's right. He
well, the
has the patent for it.
TR3B is one of the models, but there's TR3 is just the general like name of this triangle ships.
Yes.
But the TR3B has kind of rounded corners. There's a
Mhm.
orange light in the middle, and each of the ends has a white light.
Yep. Yeah. He actually has that patent. He has the patent for the TR3B,
That's
and
really
he
cool.
also has the patent for what's called a walks-through walls technology.
Ooh, I heard about that from the Stargate program. I think we were doing that
So
because
actually,
they.
what's really cool is that they actually, when you read the patent, it talks about chakras and how. Okay, so it enables somebody who is unable to, or is low skilled in manipulating energies within their chakras. Because apparently I'm not too familiar with how meditation works very well in the cases, but from what I understand, you can actually vibrate yourself with your chakras and able to pass through physical objects. I'm guessing what
There's a
this does.
CIA document that I've read that actually confirms that. And they show how the chakras actually work in cones and how the cone expands and what direction they spin. It's really, really cool. But it's stuff like they used it in the Stargate program. That's one of the ones that I've got congruent memories from with several people. I don't have physical proof. There are some people that have documentation. I only have memories that are congruent with other people. But it was crazy reading that document, and it was just like trigger. There's a lot of things like, what the fuck? But yeah, I think that definitely that makes a
Yes.
lot of sense. Vibrating, because
So
it's
the
when you match a vibration to something.
so the patent is actually it's patent number US 20060014125A1 in the US Patent Office. It was abandoned actually as of 2006. It's called the Walking Through Walls Training System, and it talks about training methods and how to use the chakras. Now, this enables somebody who has no true, control of their chakras, and actually augments them so that they can do things just as well as a trained master can.
That makes so much sense with the dreams that I've had, because in a lot of the dreams, we're doing a lot of like Qigong and Kung Fu type moves. And a lot of chi, like we're doing a lot of things with our palms, just like we would be like doing a punch, but I would see like energies, and some of it would be hot, some of it would be cold. And so
Yes.
that's really interesting.
It's almost like when you look at it, it almost like it reminds me of a training wheels. It reminds me of training wheels, right?
Cool.
You know how when you're riding a bike, you know how you're riding a bicycle, and when you first try it, you have the small little training wheels on the back wheel.
Yeah.
This works kind of like that. Once you learn how to master your energies, you don't have to use this training system.
That's really cool.
And then you can detach it, and then you can use your energies as you would normally.
Isn't that similar to when they do like in the Matrix movie, how they download the stuff in your head and then you kind of already know how to do the stuff? But you can
it's training your altars, because they fracture you and then you train your altars. I mean, there's a lot of technology I can't speak for, just because I mean, who knows? Just with what I mean, there's so many programs out there. I remember stuff to do with cyber warfare. We were doing like ICQ chats and like pulling information, and it was weird shit, like these weird labs I was in. And then I remember like there's times I was actually singing music with people and different quarters. And I remember, God, like the Saturn space station, some planet, or I don't even know if it was a planet or if it was an asteroid. It had some sort of colony on it. There was water on it. I mean, there's so many different memories that I've been writing down whenever I have lucid dreaming. I put them in my dream journal. And so I do
Yeah,
remember different jump chairs that we had a lot. Like we would be in them and you can interface with your mind. And we did that with our ships as well, because there's things that we would put our hands in that would, it was almost like it kind of locks onto you so that you can communicate. But once you're communicating with it, it's weird because it's like you go from seeing with your eyes to all of a sudden it's like everywhere. It's like
Mhm.
your third eye. And I guess that's why I've just got the habit, because I do that with my energy work whenever I'm doing readings. It's just the way that I see. But it's just like that kind of the VR type feeling doing that 360 is what
Just
that reminded me of.
yeah, because I know
so
they have ways to get people to technology to, instead of
Mhm.
totally teaching you from step
Right.
1 to step 20 on how to do something, they actually give you an inkling of what it feels like. For example, what did it feel like with your body to, for example, to be able to walk through a wall or something, and then after that you train yourself to get to that sensation again, or whatever you need to do to get back to that point again on your own. So it's like they give you an idea what it feels like to levitate something, what it feel like,
Right.
whatever, they give you a taste of it, and then you use that as a benchmark to get there on your own because you have
mhm.
an idea of what it feels like or what it takes.
Right.
So
Definitely helps.
just to finish up this one patent, uh, the summary for this patent says this invention is a training system that enables a human being to acquire sufficient hyperspace energy in order
Wow.
to pull the body out of dimension so the person can walk through solid objects such as wooden doors.
That
That
makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
with just
that's
like,
and this is in the patent office. This is not me making anything up. I can give you the link for the patent and you could look it up yourself. I am more than happy. In
oh,
fact,
I
actually,
definitely want to see it.
Yeah,
I
that
want
would
to
be
see it.
awesome.
I think it'll trigger some more memories. Just, I
let
mean, a
me
lot of
actually.
the Philadelphia experiment stuff. Um, I know that there's been other super soldier assets that have talked about how like pilot navigators would what they would do, because anybody that's not familiar with the Philadelphia experiment, there was a ship that basically was vibrated in and out of our dimension and it disappeared. When it came back, there was people that were like in walls and like in each other
Oh,
and just fucked
I know
up.
exactly what you're talking about.
hmm
I've
Yeah.
seen that.
And
That is
so
Yeah.
freaky.
what they supposedly did with all of us that were in that Stargate program is we were supposed to, like when you're piloting or navigating a ship, you go through different wormholes. There's different vibrational
Mhm.
frequency changes, but you have to pretty much hold the energy and scan the ship to make sure that nobody's fucked up like that. And so, like, whenever the ship is coming to and from dimensions or jumps or whatever, most people on the ship kind of have this like headache, dizziness, nausea feeling for a few minutes because it's kind of holding that vibration to make sure everybody's where they should be before you come out of that hyperspace or that interdimensional space.
Mhm. 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 Yep.
So anyway, that's
So
just
just want to so so on the lives that are on YouTube and on Facebook, I have a link for anybody who's watching this now or in the future. That link will actually send you to that particular patent,
oh
so
cool.
you can do your own research and read it for yourself. You know, I think
Uh,
it's I, don't take my word for it. I will give you the sauce, as they say.
Yeah.
uh, it kind of goes to what I personally believe, which is that all the free flow of information is essential to deal with tyranny. So, but anyways, one of the reasons I actually wanted to talk about all these different things, I think, really had to do with what's going on right now today. And that has to do with the airports and what they were talking about when it came to 5G, and how a lot of pilots and other members of the airline community are saying, you don't want to do that. You don't want to turn these things on, especially when there are planes in the sky. And
Yeah, I read about that.
what was that?
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a recent article put
I
out
would
about it.
assume. I assume most likely this has to do with the fact that most aircraft are not hardened to any type of radiation that may be radiating out of these towers. So this may cause some interference with electronics. And as we have seen in the past, when electronics do not work on aircraft, it can get very, very, very bad very quickly. The best example I have for this is the 720. I think it was the 737 Max, I believe what they're called, and how they were actually grounded. The entire fleet of these things were grounded because of their landing mechanisms and how they were fly by wire, and so there was no manual. There were no manual controls. Everything was electronic. So same difference when it comes to this. If this interferes the electronics and there's no way to stop this, we would run into some severe issues if these things are not addressed. And
planes could crash, because I don't think that very many of them use the old handheld computers anymore. That's what we used to use when I did aerospace science in high school. So that was actually what we did our junior year. We navigated a C-130. It was really cool. But we had an old, it was like a circle metal computer thing that we would use, but it was a hand dial. So
yeah, you and
I
I
don't
both
know. I think everything's electronic now, which is
it's dangerous to have so many bells and whistles that they have. Some are good, some are good, some are life saving, like like the autopilot and things. That hit the pilot,
they still have that stuff.
Yeah,
but it was only like 25 years ago. But
it's just that a lot of them is not the best idea when it can be manipulated, and you can have people drop like stones in the sky. I don't want to encourage anybody who is afraid of flying or anything. I don't want to make it worse here, but and I've had experience of actually being in a one-engine plane and helping fly and steer it and everything and stuff like that. So I'm actually aware of all that it takes, even just for a one-engine plane. Imagine a four-engine one, but it's just that it just that some of the disruption that can happen could cause the types of problems that would be something that you cannot come back to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was actually kind of happy when I heard that, but mainly because I was aware of different remedies for the 5G radiation that was going to be coming out. And one of them was actually, I know a lot of people that I've been talking to within the circles I'm with were talking about covfefe. And, most people, when you talk about covfefe, they think about the tweets that Trump did when he was president and had to do with coverage. And eventually covfefe came into actually being an actual law that made all things that the president did as presidential record. That included tweets, that included memes, that included everything that was on an official presidential account or anything of an account that was for a president would be considered part of the president's archives. So I thought, one second, let me
Yeah, we can't delete everything. So it's there's always records somewhere anyway. But yes, it's good that these things are put in place.
So Covfefe, oh, I'm trying to, while I'm talking to you guys, it's actually a act, like I was saying.
Huh.
One sec, I'm sorry. Yeah, here he is. It's the Covfefe Act, the Communications Over Various Feeds Electronically for Engagement Act. And it was signed into law in 2008, 17, one second. Signed into law 2017. So this is one of the very earliest of his laws that he signed. And this updated the Presidential Records Act amended in 2007, which basically includes digital social media, which was not included prior because social media wasn't a big thing as it is now back in 2007.
Right.
So, like the official Twitter page for like the White House or a particular elected official, those were not usually included because they were not part of the records usually.
So does that include all presidents from here on out ever since starting with Trump?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, then that means all of Biden's junk, or should we say, President Brandon stuff is also record as well.
Which means that they're, without getting too political, because that's actually not where I was going with this.
I didn't push it over.
No worries. Just to kind of put that into a nice neat bow. That would be interesting because with all the different times that they have ended live streams abruptly, that would be part of the record as well.
Yeah.
So that's something else.
They have it all.
And they will for in perpetuity until this law is repealed, if ever. But that actually wasn't where I was going. What I was going to say is that Covfefe actually has multiple extra meanings besides the Covfefe Act. Because I think there's at least 3 or 4 different ways you can look at this. That's
Isn't
2
like
of them
a
right there.
magnet
The
thingy or
Covfefe and the
something?
tweet. I was just about to get there. Yeah, the Covfefe alloy. There's a Covfefe alloy, COFEFE, cobalt and 2 irons.
Yeah.
It makes an alloy, which, if bonded to 5G towers, weakens the harmful radiation while at the same time strengthening the signal.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is a hot fix. This is you're patching a dangerous system. So we could be actually using a system which is more powerful and safer than, say, the current 4G or LTE systems.
Well, the ones in space they're like, God, I think they've got to be at least up to 35G. I mean, just with as
they're
much.
Like, I think there's 7G up there, 6G, 7G.
Yeah. So I was thinking it had to be way further, but yeah, holy cow.
Well, at least that the on the public side. I'm not too familiar how it is on the SSB or Dot Project side.
Right.
But this I know one of the reasons why when they wanted to really fast track 5G was just to jump over it entirely, just jump over 5G technology altogether, and to go, excuse me. Sorry about that. I had a frog in my throat. Good. Because what they want to do is jump into 6G, which would be even better in my mind, from what I understand about 6G, which is not very much at this moment. There's very little information about 6G. Drip, drip, drip as they come.
Right.
That's part of it. Is that this is a covfefe alloy. The thing is, it's beautiful. The fact that you can actually deal with this thing with regularly well-known elements.
Really cool.
Cobalt's is not that difficult to find. It's usually in mines where they find lithium. So I would find it interesting that they use a covfefe alloy over the nickel cobalt batteries. Because nickel cobalt is used for electric cars.
I wonder if they mine
What
that in
type of-
Salt Lake, because they have so
Well,
much salt and stuff out there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lithium too. in
What
the
what
water.
types of metals are used in Tesla's free energy device?
I am not too familiar.
I'm just wondering if it's connected. I'm just getting inkling that it's possible.
Not too sure.
Because I know he used a lot of these different types of metals to run through. So that's something to think about though as
Definitely.
well. Everything connects, just kind of like Legos.
But so the alloy is the big one when it comes to the 5G. And I think the other one that's really interesting is that are you guys familiar with Zach Voorhees?
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, the Google
Google
guy.
whistleblower.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Google
okay,
guy.
is that who that was.
Yeah, so this covfefe actually connects to him as well, surprisingly. Because he was one of the things that he was tasked with was dealing with the Google search results on the Google side when he was working with them. And one of the things that they were doing, as we all know now with the algorithms, is manipulate search results. They would have the algorithm to manipulate the search results. Now, covfefe, if you go by the old search results of Google, is an actual word. It's an old pre-Alluvian term. And pre-Alluvian refers to before the flood. And yes, we're talking about like Noah flood, pre-Alluvian period, before the flood, during the old period of time. And it was also eventually adopted into, I believe it's an Arabic phrase as well. They use the same word. And it means, I believe, in the end, we will succeed or we will be victorious. That's what the covfefe means. So I find that very interesting that we have all these different covfefes, which seem to be completely unrelated to one another. It's kind of like that.
It almost seems like it was planned out that way.
It seems like that, yeah. It seems like it looks bad until you actually realize what's actually going on, type of thing.
And it's not the first time they take a word or a phrase or even an activity and then use it for multiple different meanings or possibilities of what it could be behind it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what all happens.
But the first object is to totally drain the swamp in every single direction, because if you had technology roll out first, it could be literally all used against us. As the current technology that we have now is being used against us. You'd never want to roll out anything too powerful, and have it kick our ass so we defeat it. So I think the first step is to actually clean everything out and then roll out anything that, including information, which I'm excited about. There's real information coming out, and some of it's dripping out now, but I can't wait. And we all have to refrain to do this. See, I told you so, though, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just the nice thing about this is that we are actually seeing a lot of these things happening right now.
Really
all over the place. We are seeing that drastic change that would have been considered unattainable, 5 years ago. And because I think the general population realizes that unless we work together as one cohesive group, nothing will get done, and we can't be passive anymore, especially with how things are these days. You just can't be passive. So we'll see. I think there is a ton of things that are going to be coming down the pipe, and this really is just a small teaser for what could be happening nearby.
We'll call it disclosure trailer.
I mean, you're not going to hear me go in a world where, anyways.
Sure.
The movie, the title is Great Awakening. It's coming to a theater near you.
Just
Definitely.
curious because like a lot of our favorite 17 disappeared for a long time, and Mr. T, and all of a sudden he's creeping back into things, and I'm getting texts from him again and emails, just like the group thing. He's like, donate to this or that, or it's just kind of funny because that stopped for a while. But so I'm kind of curious. There must be something going on that
Yeah.
Well,
there's
I'm
other
with you.
people that are creeping back into play too, as well. So
Well,
on the other side, so it's almost like, it feels like how you have a certain good guys step up to the plate, and then the other side's also stepping up. So I'm just seeing that go on, especially somebody who's also been out of the picture, Miss Krabby Pants. She's came back into the picture as well. So
Yep. Yeah,
well, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's the one that I've been crabbing about losing. I'm still crabbing about losing. Did a whole reading on it too. That whole little her speech and everything. She read that. So yeah.
One of the
one of Oops I Crap My Pants' friends anyway, but
The one that has a lot of friends that has committed suicide.
They did not hang themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot, that Lolita Express. I remember seeing a few names on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Lots
yeah,
of good
so
things I
there's
think are
a lot
happening.
of we have drums for war happening, but we also have drums for peace happening as well. So we just need to override the drums of war, be louder with peace.
I was really
Well, it's funny.
excited. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny, interesting. You're talking 17, and there were several people that have been reporting that they trip code all of a sudden was reactivated for some reason, and that trip code has been deactivated for several months. Ever since December of 2020, it's been deactivated. So to hear that the trip code was activated is curious. Now, from what I understand, we, not me, anybody who has really been looking at this, we do not know at this point, has this been done by the original owner of that, or was there some type of hacking attempt in order to get to this trip code? We don't know. We just find, I personally just find it interesting that code all of a sudden showed up again, and it hasn't been. Now, another curious thing about this is that the server that this trip code is under, and the boards that are under it, are under a DoD server. And for people who are not familiar, DoD means the United States Department of Defense. There is a server. It apparently is under a server, but that is under the control of the Department of Defense. So
why does that not surprise me?
And that was actually done after they had to shut down 8chan. The server was added when 8kun was up.
I was wondering what all happened to that. Mm.
So, and now and what's interesting about that is that now you have um, Ron Watkins, who's probably other people know him as Code Monkey Z. He's currently running for Congress right now in Arizona.
So to say, I recognize that Code Monkey thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's been everywhere.
His father actually owned Aid Coon.
Interesting.
I
His
didn't know
father
that.
is oh my gosh, the name for oh my gosh, Jim Watkins.
Huh.
No, yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see. We will see. I think it's and then on top of that, there was a lot of excitement because of the last rally that happened, the last Trump rally. Because one of the name, so I don't know if you ever watched like the RSBN, the right side broadcasting. Have you ever watched their live streams?
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one.
Okay, so RSBN, what they will do is that they'll have
That makes sense
all the
about
donors.
Netflix. Yeah.
They'll have like the names of all the donors on the lower third, on the very bottom of the stream, and they'll be like, oh, Joe Smith, and then next one will be like another Joe Smith or something like that. It'll be alphabetical order. Well, guess what? One of those names that were under that bar was Nasera Jacera.
Yes, we saw that. Yeah. I thought that was exciting.
I've heard a lot of rumors about that the past couple of weeks, and so
it's been coming back, and I'm curious because I follow that stuff, and it's all of a sudden picking up speed again, and when it wasn't for a while there. So
there's definitely some convos I want to have with Dr. Bloom about some stuff again. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a
I think
subject
that's
he definitely is
exciting.
an expert in.
Yeah, really, really something of interest. Just that St. Germain Fund and a lot of changes coming to the world, I think.
And here's one of the things that I actually found. As we found this in movies and in TV shows all the time, where they want to withhold something from the public, and they say we can't do it; it'll cause mass panic, or cause chaos, and people can't handle it. And I'm saying all this time, the whole C-19 issue, it was a huge change, and a 180-degree, totally different than how we're normally living, and everybody adapt pretty well, very quickly, I might add. So I just think that we get babied by the guys in office thinking that we can't handle anything crazy. And I think the public can't. Sure, everybody's going to freak out at first. That's natural. But it would give it about a couple of weeks and it all ends up being a new norm, a month at best. It depends how crazy it is. But
if they can program everybody to be afraid of a virus, they can also program everybody to be like, hey, we've had contact with some people from other planets, and they're really cool, and they're going to come and visit us, and we're going to make a time to meet them so they can prep the public. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, they could have done that years ago.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, they could have done that years ago, but instead we have all these stories of abductions and things like that. And then the thing is technology. It's not that. I mean, the technology. We all love gadgets anyway. It's been a thing. It's in our blood. That's why there's all these companies out there that have all these crazy gadgets. But unfortunately, a lot of them are decorative, but they are inklings of the stuff that is out there, like levitating flower pots and whatever. But there are gadgets out there that have some modern qualities. They even have the hourglass that does the opposite direction that normal hourglass does. I thought that was cool looking. But I mean, I'm just saying that there are technologies out there, but they mostly view them as toys or view them as decorations and things like that. So we do have things out there, and it's just that if people can handle the little stuff, I think a lot of us can handle the big stuff. It's just that we have been numb so much that it is going to be a real shock. I'm hoping that to wease it in, even little by little, even more than just calling it toys and decorative items.
And then you also have the fact that you did have like NASA not that long ago, I think a few weeks ago, they were bringing up, well, we need to talk to theologians about what would happen with first contact. They said
Right.
I'm like,
It's like they have to bring
I'm
religion
sorry.
into it.
I just get exasperated when they say stuff like that because I'm like, oh, they're already here. If y'all think the cell phone was something that just got pooped out by some chicken, you're wrong. You know, the smartphone
well,
actually, the smartphone is actually, you know, is actually theirs, not ours. So, yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's like the glass pads.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Well, this has been fun. It's been really fun. It's cool how all this ties together. I think
Everything is,
that we're going to be getting more disclosure, and the drips are becoming more than just little drips, I think.
yeah,
So it's pretty
frequent,
exciting.
frequent.
Yeah, I think that we're going to be getting gushes instead of just drips, which is pretty exciting.
Alex, how much are the buckets again? I'm just kidding.
what buckets?
Buckets, troughs, buckets to catch the drips in. We're gonna
It's probably gonna be $1.50.
okay,
There you
sounds good.
go.
It's gonna be with the quarter staff, which is $1.25 quarter staff.
Yeah, but remember those the buckets, those $1.50 are probably made in China. But anyway,
Oh no. They're made here.
really?
We can
That's
cut the
cheap?
cost. We can cut the cost, get rid of the middleman.
Nice.
Why not?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay. You don't have to worry about the tariffs.
Oh wow.
That's so much better.
Yeah, that would be definitely a good idea. Yeah.
Anyways, I digress.
Oh my God.
So, should we actually pick up next week about talking about a little more of the Nasara thing?
Yeah, I think it would be a really good place to start. Nasara, Jasara, Yasara. There's a lot of ways to say it. Saint Germain Fund. I think that it's really cool. Anybody that would like to see a really good video that was very well done, James Rink over on Super Soldier Talk on YouTube actually did a video on it. I think that they're still doing that over there, but yeah, it's actually very well done. It's got a couple different parts to it and talks about Saint Germain and the history, and it's really, really cool how he did it. But I mean, I know that there's other videos and things that you can see, but I just thought that one was cool. Anyway, guys, it's been fun, and I look forward to talking with you guys next week on the show. Thanks so much again, Soma Fusion and iEvolveTV for helping out, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.
A good one.
Love. Thank you for watching.